suñu Bamba bëgg Sëñ Touba rek gëm Sëñ Touba rek wóolu Sëñ Touba rek yaakaar Sëñ Touba rek sant Sëñ Touba rek jaro am maam Cheikh Ibrahima Fall. jërëjëf suñu Bamba bëgg Sëñ Touba rek gëm Sëñ Touba rek wóolu Sëñ Touba rek yaakaar Sëñ Touba rek sant Sëñ Touba rek jaro am maam Cheikh Ibrahima Fall. jërëjëf suñu Bamba bëgg Sëñ Touba rek gëm Sëñ Touba rek wóolu Sëñ Touba rek yaakaar Sëñ Touba rek sant Sëñ Touba rek jaro am maam Cheikh Ibrahima Fall. jërëjëf suñu Bamba bëgg Sëñ Touba rek gëm Sëñ Touba rek wóolu Sëñ Touba rek yaakaar Sëñ Touba rek sant Sëñ Touba rek jaro am maam Cheikh Ibrahima Fall. jërëjëf suñu Bamba bëgg Sëñ Touba rek gëm Sëñ Touba rek wóolu Sëñ Touba rek yaakaar Sëñ Touba rek sant Sëñ Touba rek jaro am maam Cheikh Ibrahima Fall. jërëjëf suñu Bamba bëgg Sëñ Touba rek gëm Sëñ Touba rek wóolu Sëñ Touba rek yaakaar Sëñ Touba rek sant Sëñ Touba rek jaro am maam Cheikh Ibrahima Fall. jërëjëf suñu Bamba bëgg Sëñ Touba rek gëm Sëñ Touba rek wóolu Sëñ Touba rek yaakaar Sëñ Touba rek sant Sëñ Touba rek jaro am maam Cheikh Ibrahima Fall. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim taslima. Saddid lisani nawir janani safi amani wazid barai. Viewers of Echo from Touba, welcome to the program again. So happy, glad to have you on our program today on Sunday the 8th, inshallah, just after Magal. So mashallah, so amazed to have brothers visiting from actually Ivory Coast, and he's from Senegal, but actually visiting from England. Brother Ibrahim Diouf and Ashante Bamba. We're going to talk about a topic very important, new turn for Touba, improving how to improve financial and infrastructures means of Touba. This is so new business opportunities. We're going to talk about it since they one work with the financial industries in London, and my brother also worked with the has some knowledge on infrastructures. So first, welcome to the program, Brother Ashante Bamba.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be with you this afternoon, and by the name of Allah, I think we will say something very useful to our brothers Murid, inshallah.
Ashante Bamba from Ivory Coast. The thing is, I've heard a name of Bamba in Ivory Coast. Is there anything related to Serigne Touba, Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba? Because there's a city apparently called Bamba.
Yeah, no,
Oh, Touba, actually.
Touba, exactly.
Okay.
So, from this city, you have a lot of Bambas, like family names, but
Okay.
in Ivory Coast, from Ivory Coast to Mali, even to Ghana,
Guinea.
the name Bamba is a family name.
Okay.
While for saying Touba, I think he took it like it's not his family name. But we are very happy that he chose this name from ours. So.
Right. This has been Bambas over there for a long time.
Yeah.
What's the meaning of the name Bamba?
Bamba in Bambara means crocodile.
Crocodile.
Yeah.
The one who ate the French, like I said. And brother Ibrahim Diouf, welcome to the show.
I'm very delighted to be here.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, and I hope I'll be sharing things that'll be useful for all our viewers, inshallah.
Be beautiful. You know, we just came after Magal, and it's been 100 years since the Sheikh, alhamdulillah, passed away, returned back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your impression of Touba, what it became, and the Muridiya, what is your feeling after the Magal, 100 years after?
I'm very, let's say, impressed by the growth and the number of population, the improvement in terms of even the infrastructure, the way it's organized, and I've been in the Magal for the past, let's say, 3 or 4 years. I went there all the time, and each time the improvement, you can feel it. But I think we still have room for improvement, and we'll probably talk about it. But yeah.
Exactly, inshallah. And same question, brother, your impression 100 years after he demised.
I've been going to Maga since I've been very young.
You're still young, though.
Yeah, I'm still very young. Thank you very much for remembering that.
Right.
My dad always tell me that when they were going to Magal in the 60s, they used to be like small restaurants around the mosque, and that's where they used to like buy food to do that.
Even in the 80s.
Yeah, even in the 80s. Yeah, okay. I didn't know that, but I wasn't born in the 80s.
Yeah.
But he tells me that. But I remember, I mean, like one of the things I remember that is a huge improvement is the way to get to Touba. I remember when I was young, every time we were going to Magal, I used to be traumatized because I used to sit in these big buses for like 3-4 hours, and it was just
the whole day.
Yeah, the whole day.
Exactly.
But now you could just do it, by an hour, which is like a huge improvement. I think the size of the houses has grown, the amount of people. So I'm very pleased to see so much organization going around and innovation going around the mosque, and the people that are coming to visit. It's getting diversified. I think all of that is just contributing to how great the market is actually getting. Yeah,
exactly. And we can see that it's been like the order have been building infrastructures before, investing like Sayyid Moda Mustafa with the mosque, Sayyid Fallu with the mosque, and also making the city much more wider. And when Sayyid Abdul Ahad also came, and he invests also in that area, like building the library, making the mosque a little wider as well. Sayyid Salih did the same this time with Sheikh Muntaha, building the university and making a lot of improvements in terms of investment. Since you work in the financial area in London, before you come to the opportunity of endowment funds, like meaning all these means we can use to improve our economy. Can you tell us first, the work you kind of doing, in England?
Yeah, so I can tell you a little bit about that. I studied economics. I did a BSc in economics at the University of London, and I did a master's in finance at the London School of Economics. So London School of Economics is one of the biggest finance and economic school in the UK and the whole world. I worked as an economist for the UK government. I used to work for the UK government. I did that for 3 years, and my job was to analyze like investment opportunities. So the way they work there is like for any investment decision they're going to make, if they're going to put money somewhere, they invest in thinking, like where they should get the money, how they should put their money.
Some kind of think tanks.
Yeah, so some kind of think tank. So there's a lot of things related to, is it worth to put the money here or not? So they ask a lot of those questions, and I did a lot of work
on the monetary fund or something.
It's not a monetary, so it depends. So the way they invest, so a lot of infrastructure there can be a private sector. It could be a company that has money. They will put it on behalf of the government, and in the meantime they will charge a fee for that, and trying to get the return over the years. It could also be the government putting their money into it varies. So for large projects, it can be government, like airports and that sorts. For roads and other things, it's likely to be, it can be private sector, essentially. So I've been working there for the last few years, and recently working for Google and Microsoft.
Beautiful.
But this is a topic I'm very interested in, and I know a lot about, that I'm here to share. And again, you know, like I know Touba is, you know, wealth money represent a big thing in our religion.
Right.
We see how Sayyidina Usman has helped the Prophet ﷺ with the money he was giving.
Exactly.
That's what people used to use to prepare for battle. So now the world has changed. We're using that money for, you know, like constructing, you know, things like the university, as you just mentioned, the roads. So ways on how are we going to sustainably continue to get this money is very important.
Exactly.
And I'll be more than happy to elaborate on that.
Exactly.
You know,
is
further.
it the assets, like if like a city needs money, is the money ready? Because when we talk about, you know, we talk about action. Isn't money ready in England, for instance, for investment in Touba? Is it Touba can attract the asset over there available? Is there, how it's going to work? Is it we have to do the contact, or is you telling them there's opportunity in Touba? Which way it should work?
So again, I mean, people that have the money, one way they usually think is, if they have, you know, a pull up and they want to invest, they always think, where should they put it, when and how, and all that is based on opportunities. Of course, there's a lot of opportunities in Touba. So if an investor is putting money into a particular sector or building a university in Touba, for instance, what they are looking to get is how much am I going to get in the next 10 years? It could be a social investment as well. It could be, you know, we have this amount of money, we just want to build universities, and Touba want to build one, we're just going to give it to Touba no matter how, and our return is just going to be like a university that's being built. So I think there's opportunities for Touba to work with the wider world, but of course that requires, you know, changes in terms of, you know, how we present the opportunities, you know, what's the, you know, what framework that investment is going to be in. It could also be like, how can we, you know, like make private investors be more willing to invest in Touba, and there's ways to do that. We just need to sit on the table and think of framework and you know, how we structure these sort of things, and then there's people that have the knowledge that can, you know, do that sort of stuff.
And don't you think it's going to be a hurdle in terms of religious affiliation? Because if we Muslim, we Murid, you know, we have some certain guidelines. What do you think about those guys coming, maybe, and they're not basically Muslim? You think they're going to be willing to invest their money in a city like that? Yeah,
I've seen, you know, there's an orphanage in Touba called Orphanage Kermam Jara. I've personally been involved in areas where actually there's, you know, money that came from the UK, from other places, that went, you know, to a specific, you know, orphanage. So it's possible, of course, with boundaries, with scholars, you know, like, of course, finance is a very tricky thing, because there's a, you know, the line between the halal and haram is very thin. So, you know, it can't just be done by people that have knowledge. It needs to be, you know, mingle with scholars, people that have knowledge about what is allowed and what is not allowed. But there's definitely ways that we can, you know, bridge that gap, you know, and definitely make this happen.
I remember when they were building the Mosque of Jurbel, one student to ask for 28 franc for everyone to, you know, participate on a crowdfunding thing. And after that, when they had gathered 5 million that time, 5 million, and this is I told them, this is the way, because when people, you know, give you their eyes, they definitely will tell you where to look.
That's true. I agree. But this is where we can also change something. So, you know, that's a great example. We are great at collecting money, but how do we manage that money so that money can work for us? So, you know, let's say we collected 5 million people, food donations. How can we make that 5 million 10 million, so profitable. In 2 years we can build a mosque and still be left with 5 million.
Exactly.
And there are ways to do that. They are completely halal to do. You know, they complete way. I don't see. I think the barrier is just we haven't explored the opportunities. If I give you an example, if you go to the US, Harvard University, they are well known for that. So they receive a lot of donation from outside, but they don't use that donation for the buildings they want to build in Harvard. What they do, they will give it to a fund, and that fund will invest that money on behalf of Harvard.
In different areas.
In different areas. And you can choose those areas. You can say, I don't want anything that is related, that is haram, for example. I don't want you to invest my but you can invest your money in an oil rig. That's not a problem. So if you invest your money in an oil rig in the US or in Dubai or something, and your 10 million become 15 million, you suddenly you can do 15 million more. So I think we should, you know, explore those opportunities.
That's a very beautiful idea here. I think we should prospect in order for the community to advance a little bit. Brother Ashante, we've talked about financial means, how to improve that. You know about infrastructures, because these are a balance. You know, when money is here, works, you'd have to invest it in the city. How do you find the city of Touba? Do you think there's a lot we can do in terms of infrastructures?
Yeah, absolutely. But but before that, to add on what Ibra was just saying, you know, London is very well known as a Islamic financial state as well. So we really have, let's say, resources and regarding finance system which can really support Touba in the halal way as well. Exactly. So this can be easily done. Regarding the infrastructure, I think we had to do some improvement, because when you go especially to the Magal, you can see the crowd and you can see how difficult it is to move. Years ago, without the highway, I remember when we were going there, it spent days, sometimes to arrive. But now we have the highway, so it's pretty easy.
Ila
Touba. But even though if you are going 24 hours before, you will still spend the 1 day we used to spend.
Exactly.
So we need to think a little bit and be a little bit smart. And this is what I always say to my brothers, Murid. You know, we had a chance of having SERIGNE Touba like a very recent saint and personality in the Islamic, and we need to copy from what has been doing before him. And we have cities like Konya from Turkey, and we have cities like Karbala and all these, and we can really learn about what they are doing. So one of the things that we were thinking, you know, among us was saying, we probably need to have a place where people, where they are going to Touba, we can just park, you know, a very big parking place in the edge of Touba, not really at the entrance. And from this now, we can build some railway or tram system going through the city.
In the city.
Exactly. And we have to have our main road to the mosque, which need to be places just to walk. Not all the car will be allowed to go there, except we can also put some, you know, rapid buses like BRT to go there. But we can mix the railway and the tram with a walkable spaces to make it very easier for us. And in this type of infrastructure, we can always find people to invest in it, because as you are saying, this money will bring another money. We will put application to get the ticketing going on. We have a view, and we make sure that it's very, you know, rentable for the population of Touba.
Beautiful. You've mentioned Konya in Turkey.
Yeah.
What does Konya has that Touba should emulate from?
I think if you go to Konya today, so the anniversary of Rumi, which who is the great Sufi there, is on the 7th of December. So if you get a chance to go there, you will see that they have really improved the railway system. So from all the places to the mosque and the museum of the Sheikh, the railway can go from there to any place. And they added to this railway also the local transportation system with buses. And we as Murid today, we have a chance, because technology is moving. So we can improve even what they have done, doing it with, you know, electrical buses, doing with economic energy system to make it more better. See?
Absolutely. It's going to be a little bit improvement if we just do that. Is it going to be possible, Brother Ibrahim Diouf, if we do just as the Brother Ashanti said, considering that Dakar, I mean, what do you call him again, Touba has its own land title. You know, the way he works with government here in Senegal, the government is really, before anything they do in terms of entrepreneurship, they have to just go to talk to the Caliph, have the agreement of the Caliph, otherwise it's not going to work. Is that going to be able to accomplish? Or in Touba itself, we have to engage and have these investments brought by their own capacity, or, you know, which tunnel should be used?
That's a very good question. Those can be some of the challenges, of course. You know, the fact that you have your own land title can, you know, make that investment not to be an appetite for some. But I think there's still huge opportunities, and I think what we should leverage these sort of works is we already have institutions in place that have received, you know, the green light of the Khalif, the likes of Touba Sakanam, as an example, and they collect a huge amount of money. Now, how that money is actually used, how that money is actually invested,
that's where the problem is.
I think that's where the problem is. Not in terms of clarity. Of course, what they're doing is very clear. I'm just saying
that's the best group ever.
Yeah. How can we have a greater impact? You know, you're collecting 1 billion a year, but how can we have a 10 billion impact? And it's definitely possible. Okay. And the way it's not, I get $1 billion now, and I'm going to invest 800 million this year, and I'm left with 200 million. You're going to grow very slow in that way. It's like I've received $1 billion. How am I going to invest, you know, half of it in an investment fund, in stocks, in bonds, in something that's going to generate employment, in something that's going to, you know, like make money for Touba Sakanam. So next year, that 500 million is going to give me 750 million. Exactly. I have my 500 million, I have 200 million. I still invested my 500 million. So from that 1 billion, I have a 2 billion impact. So I think we need to have that sort of thinking. I mean, it's not a business. Of course, this is how companies think, but I think these are ideas we need to leverage. Exactly. And I remember the last time Sayyid Muntaha Hafizullah was speaking to the Touba Sakanam, one thing he told them, he said, when you bring people that run this thing, bring people that have knowledge of this, people that have knowledge of administration. Exactly. So it's very important. The reason he mentioned that is because these people can bring this sort of knowledge, and it's time that we think, you know, like, how can we have 10x? So, you know, if you go to London, people have this idea of, you know, how can I do 10 times the impact of what I have? And this is the mindset we need to use. And I think having this mindset, we can achieve greater things, definitely.
I hope so. Beautiful. If you just join us, welcome to Echo from Touba. Today, again, Brother Ibrahim Ajouf and Ashanti. We're talking about the improving, actually, financial infrastructures and financial means in Touba. Exactly, that's our topic today. Echo from Touba every Sunday, inshallah, every 15 days here on Lampfalltv television. There's a rerun. If you're visiting Touba, you can contact me on my page, Facebook, inshallah, and please subscribe to our channel on YouTube. All these videos will be uploaded in that channel. Please do, inshallah, subscribe. Alhamdulillah, Brother Ibrahima, you're right, but my problem is, if you have like it seems like Touba doesn't need money coming from abroad, because Murids are always ready to give out money when you ask them. The problem we have is, like you said, how to reinvest and how to gain from those investments. Usually we just get the money, and it's like money and time's like a very friendly couple, because when you have the money and you should keep the money for a certain amount of time. At the meantime, you can invest it and gain more money and still keep the investment going. This is like something that we need to be trained with. Touba Sakanam is doing a lot of great things, building hospitals, but we're not investing in job opportunities. Right. So what is it, your plans, or what something you can tell them? This is like a good business opportunities, like the financial area in London. What is your advice to them?
One example I give you: look at the amount of money that flows out of the Mangal. So it's billions that flows out of money. Exactly. But how much it stays in Touba? Even the toothstick we're using is actually made from abroad. Yeah, the plates we're using for the food we're eating is made outside of Touba. Right. Or not outside of Senegal, we can say. Even the tissues, everything is pretty much made outside of Senegal. Right. So the thinking I will have is, as an organization that's non-profit, that's working in this space, like, what can I invest in that could be used in the Mangal of Touba? I mean, like, why don't we invest in industries? Why Touba
There's no free zones in Touba.
Yeah. Why Touba don't produce the peanuts butter they're using? I mean, why don't we produce the tomato we're using? And the thing I always say, Senegal is a small market. So when you do something, you need to think big. You need to think West Africa. What Touba can produce that can be sold in the region, in Senegal, but also beyond. So we the largest producers of peanuts. The Bao region is of peanuts. Why don't we produce? Why don't we invest in having a factory that produces peanut butter that's not only consumed locally, but actually sold abroad? So actually the UK, for example, England is one of the largest importers of peanut butter. Why don't we try to build partnerships with companies there where we can sell this peanut butter ship it to the US, groceries in the US, they will buy it, and that's new money flowing in from UK, from US, creating job opportunities in Senegal. But also for Touba Sekam, they don't need to get involved in this. They can just find an entrepreneur that does this, that's sound, or any other institution that work in Touba. Take some of this donation money, put it in there, and let it work for a couple of years. So your impact will be, you get your money back, you get on top of your money back, but you've created jobs. And you've also created a product that's also made in Touba.
Even how many cows slaughtered, all these cow skins could have been used for
making shoes
and vests and whatever you want. Improving this type of ore, having some gains on that opportunity, business investment, plans for Touba. What do you think we should invest our money in, since getting money from the Murids is very easy?
And I think this is a very great question, that if we are able to think about it and set a plan, for sure we will improve our system in Touba. One of the things I always think about is, I think there are a few, let's say, pillars we need to work on when we get the money. The first one, which is really important, is investing in the human resources, the education. Serigne Muntaka always says we need to invest in the knowledge, but people often the time think that knowledge is only limited to the Sharia, to the Islamic knowledge, but we need to go beyond that. When you take a child, he has memorized the Quran, he's very smart, he's ready to do anything that you can think about it, and these are the real resources that we have, very powerful, that we need to build on. So we need to get some money put aside for these children, and build or prepare these children to become the best technician, the best engineers, the best, and these people will be the one that will invest in the industry, will invest in all type of sector that we want them to go through. So I think this is the very first thing we need to think. There is a kind of how can I say it, there is no bridge between the historical education that we are providing the children, between what the community, the international community, is waiting for this, and we need to build this so that our people will be ready to attack, let's say, the financial system and bring all the return on investment. And the second thing is the transportation. We talk about it, and after the transportation we have the food, and I think the example given by Brother Ibra is very, let's say, relevant. And the last thing I will say is energy. Today, even though we are not paying water in Touba, but energy is very consuming, but we have solar system that we can put together, and these are where places where we can invest, put our money, and make sure that we are providing to the to the Touba population for a well-being system.
Exactly, those can be a good help. And also having Serigne Touba, who did a great work, a seminal book called Matlabul Fawzain, where he enumerated all these work Touba could have that can be for the benefit of Touba. It's going to be an easy task to really do just as the brother said. And also Serigne Muntaka, brother, he built the mosque, like Brother Ashanti said, investing in human, like having human resources that is going to be ready to act for himself, talk for himself, and be able to produce, to be productive in their lifetime. That is why he said, this university I'll take from 8 years to the end of the training session, because I want this university to do everything for this child. So that's huge investment. Serigne Muntaka said. I think it goes along with what the brother said. Second, in England, if for instance those guys were ready to invest in Touba, how is it you that we should contact as from the city or Touba Chekanam and say, okay, Brother Ibrahima Diouf, since you're there, can you connect us with these financial companies, or how to attract that money you're talking about sitting in England? What should we do?
I think the first thing is being ready. And being ready is, we have to be a bit formal, because any investor is going to put money into anything. it requires a lot of paperwork, it requires a lot of questions, it requires how are you guys structured. So I think we need to start the internal work of being ready for that phase. But of course, you know, in terms of the opportunities, myself or there's other people working in this field in corporate finance could definitely help in, you know, bringing the right contact. But the question is now the right time to bring the right contact? You know, because sometimes you don't want to burn bridges. You don't want to bring someone when the thing is not really ready. But I think there's definitely opportunities to work with institutions like that, or people that are interested in having, you know, foreign investments, or even in just answering the simple question, how can we better use our money? You know, why don't, you know, an example I can give you is like, why, you know, institutions that are based in Touba invest in Touba, why don't they invest in their money abroad? It's possible. You know, there's opportunities available in the US, there's opportunities available in the UK. Why can't they maybe buy a blocks of apartment in New York and just rent it out?
Right, exactly.
You know, it's definitely possible.
Just like a waqf thing.
Yeah, that's what. If you go to Medina, for example, on some of the stuff he just mentioned, the majority of the hotel that surround Medina
belongs to the mosque.
It's actually belong to the mosque.
Exactly. Even in Mecca.
Yeah, it's the same thing in Mecca.
Exactly.
So this is why they're thinking. So they.
Salam to brother Sayyid Lamin Bake. You know, he brought Islamic Bank here in Senegal, and he's been fighting so hard. He's a son of Mam Cherno Bake of Darul Manan.
Mashallah.
So Alhamdulillah, he's been fighting for the waqf. He's like, why the mosque doesn't have their own building?
I don't understand.
Even this mosque of Dakar, Mazalik, you know, we have some bills to pay, electric bill, water bill, and we have lots of land left over there. You know, have 2 buildings over there at the corner and run it to Murid companies. That money out of those buildings could take care of the employees and the mosque people.
And this is what we're talking about.
Exactly.
This is you know, it's no longer about taking donations and spending it on the time. It's taking donations and be smart about the money.
Exactly.
You know, like everything can be done with planning. You can have a 5-year, a 10-year, a 50-year, a 100-year plan. When Sayyid Muntaha was inaugurating the University of Hafizullah, he said he was thinking about the next 300 years. And this is a problem that most of us have. In finance, you need to think longer. You can't think 1-2 years. I'm going to fix this road. No.
Long term.
We need to have a 100-year plan. You know, and how are we going to do that?
Okay.
This is what we want to achieve in 5 years, in 10, in 25, in 50, in 100 years. Okay. It's definitely possible by starting with things like that. Having, you know, buildings, you know, waqf that belong, you know, to some of these murid institutions. Exactly. Could be one way to bring money, you know, money in. And you can start in Senegal.
I don't know why they scare waqf though, because this is like but getting the money, what's really boggling me, and it's really, I think it's mind-boggling too. I mean, we got the money, like for instance, 20 billion, and we just deposit it in a bank over there for like 2 or 3 or 4 years, for the bank to have an opportunity to invest in different things and give you back the 20,000, because everything else they added to 20 billion is considered allowed. But the thing is, you investing in that bank already.
Yeah.
So what part of this you don't understand? You've been investing in you're helping this bank to build itself already. It's not about the benefits they're giving you back. It's like you helping this bank to build up.
And this is the thing. It's because many people. And Islamic finance has evolved a lot. If you go to London, it's one of the largest Islamic hub in the world. So even if you want to do it Islamically, it's definitely possible. But an example I give you, if you give 20 billion to the bank, okay, the bank will at least make 10% a year on your 20 billion. That's 2 billion.
Without that.
2 billion. 2 billion.
On your money.
On your money. And the crazy thing is, like, your people will come back to them, they will lend them your money,
right,
and they will tell them, pay me.
Subhanallah.
So you come back to them, they say, okay, I'll lend you your money and you pay me back. And then after, if you withdraw any of your money, I take you 200, I take you 2,000.
Right.
I mean, we need to move away from that concept. And it's just because people don't understand how to manage money. You know, and it's time for also even, you know, why Touba don't have their own Islamic bank? I mean,
I think that's the alternative though, to have their own, like Touba Chakanam, someone, organization like that, or even from, you know, Touba, not to mention like the order from the Caliph, to have institutions like that in Touba, where we can go, and there's a zakat house, and I really salute that. That was, you know, opened by Touba Chakanam, to have where you can go and deposit your zakat and have it invested in the city, and then that money can build markets. You can have no market and rent those markets, having that money back, and then invest it, pump it up in mosques and other investment. Touba, there's no industries. So there's a lot we can invest in Touba. So why taking billions, if you look, listening to us, and then deposit it in a bank that is outside of Touba, that has nothing to do with the guidelines of Touba, and then you just let it sit there for 20 years or 10 years, and then say, okay, when they give you your 20 million and there's some extra money that you belong, that's called whatever you call them, and you say, okay, I don't want that money, you
give it to charity.
That money is just like nothing, just like biscuits to them. They've been making billions on your back already. So I think this brother should be, again, Echo from Touba, again, kicking it here on Lampfall Television. Inshallah, we have, I think, 10 minutes to go for the program. Hope you're going to be back here, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And, you know, because there's a lot you've been doing. How's the community works in London? Is it they've organized, or they doing some...
I think this is a great example I can give you also. Our community is very organized in the UK. If you go to many places in Europe, the dairies are usually organized. It's very informal. So you have people gathering, collecting money, and then organizing magos. But if you go to the UK, we actually created a charity. We registered with the UK government. So we have a charity. We do financial reporting. We work with the UK government. The UK government actually gives some donation to our organization, which is the UK Muslim community in London. So financially, we are well set up there. So we work very well with the institutions that are there. We actually receive money from them. We leverage all the opportunities that we have financially with the UK government in there, and it's been helping us greatly. I mean, like in place, if you're a charity like that organization, you have tax rebate. So if you wanna buy stuff, you can get some of the taxes that you paid, you can get it back. But if you were organized in the old way, none of that would not be possible. And the impact I'm telling you is maybe 50 million a year. It's a great impact. So imagine if we didn't have that, you know, 5, 3 or 10 years ago, or if you didn't bother. So doing some of these things require changes. It requires changing your habits. It requires, you know, doing reporting. It's going to take a lot more time for you, but I think the benefits are greater.
Right. Alhamdulillah, appreciable. I mean, mashallah. And brother, I think he's telling me we have like 5 minutes to go. What is it in terms of opportunity for Touba? Like he said, the financial means coming from Europe and England. What else do you think you can add up to what he just said?
I think there is one thing very important when he was talking. I was just thinking about the insurance companies. You know, if you take an example of an insurance company, they gather money from everybody, but they invest in the real estate. You know, so they have asset, they have huge asset, and based on this asset, they can even raise more capitals again to do what they want to do. And at the end of the day, most of these insurance company can change and become banks as well. So I think one of the things that we can do is really invest in the real estate, not only in Senegal, even abroad and everywhere. And this money will just coming back to us so that we can reinvest in some of these, you know, project that we have in our mind.
Beautiful. And we have a new government, to just say quickly, you know, that just came to power a while ago. What your impression? You think it's going to be easy with the new government to have this, because we cannot do much in Touba if we don't have the you know, the get-go from the new government. What do you think? Is it an opportunity with the new government, or? Yeah,
definitely. I think it's a real opportunity for us, because if you look into it, even the first signal that they are giving to us is very positive.
It's a good sign.
Yeah, you know, talking about education, you know, entering in the education, some of the dara, making sure that we are taking back Wolof and all this type of reflection is a kind of, you know, sign of independence that we really need. And the second thing also, they are young, and you know, this is a real opportunity for us, you know, to showcase that Africa is a new vision, and we have, you know, this thinking. So I think it's a real opportunity for Touba, because the model of Touba is not a common model. It's based on, you know, our ancestral history and religion, and not all the government are really ready to take this into the consideration. While they are very open-minded and they want to take this in consideration, for us it's an opportunity, and we really need to seize this opportunity while they are here to build all our plan and put it in place.
Alhamdulillah. I hope the Pastef government is listening. What do you think? We have a new government, Pastef also. What do you think? Working with Touba is a good new opportunity?
I definitely think it's an opportunity. I think one thing that our previous government was missing, it was ethic. Ethic. I think
exactly.
The slogan they came with, Jubal and Jubanti, I think resonate very well to the mission that we have in Touba. So I believe they are willing to support us in the right direction. They are people that are reasonable. I think they're looking at what's the impact of the project, what this project is going to mean for Touba, what's going to mean for Senegal. And I think if the right project are presented to them, that's they're definitely going to work with us. And it's no longer a political game where things are done at the whim of the president or at the whim of certain people. So
beautiful.
there's definitely opportunity.
Beautiful. The show is over. Just one word, and because of this is the Maulud time, and Sheikh al-Khadim, Khadim Rasul, and the Prophet, when we hear in the Mount of Maulud, what's going to be your last word on Maulud, and then your last word for the program?
Oh, I think we had a great chance of having Sheikh al-Khadim Rasul, and he showed us how to love the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he spent more than, let's say, 34 of his years on kind of prison with the white man, and despite of this, he produced more than 7 tons of books, especially on the Prophet. So Maulud is an opportunity for us, to commemorate this, and to take back all this flavor and show it to our Prophet, our love Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we just need to say Jerejef Serigne Touba.
Yeah. Your last word on Maulud?
I'm just going to add to that. The Prophet said, gathering where they don't mention Allah or pray with him become nullified.
Exactly.
So I do wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil mursalin Sayyidina waliyina habibina shafi'ina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa khairi khadimi.
Sallallahu alaihi Muhammad. No need to extrapolate on that. Those beautiful last words from our brother Ibrahim Adjouf, and also Ashanti Bamba visiting here, Lampfall Television. Until next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jërëjëf Serigne Touba. Ya Rama Cheikh Ibrahim Fall. Thank you so much for watching.